You are listening to a Geekcast Radio podcast.
Myself, but be careful reading your Facebook feed because it's a news article that showed up.
Well, I saw it, and all I saw was Benicio del Toro's picture, and then that was it.
Oh, there was text that blew it.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, simple. I'm going to stay off of social media until I see the movie tomorrow. It's easy.
Joe, just do what I do. Don't read.
Well, that gets everyone into a lot of trouble when you don't read.
I don't have to read. That's my thing. Some
if
people
you don't read,
I don't
how
read.
is it that you know you're not allowed to use your hairdryer in the bathtub?
It's simple. My hair's thinning out. I don't need to. I try to impart any additional trauma.
Trial and error.
The only trauma I see is your face, Sean.
You don't see my face. Wait, do you? I can't remember what my picture is.
Ooh, man.
I'm assuming your face is just a giant steaming pile of crap that looks like a Superman symbol.
Danner, you're looking in the mirror again. Looks like a Superman symbol. like it's a crap that's been maliciously formed into a super S. It's very nice.
So besides Grand Theft Auto, what are we discussing?
No, we talked Destiny last week.
And there's a
very
Lego
little
lunch
bit
room.
of Last of Us Remastered that we had a chance to play.
Last of Us, Grand Theft Auto,
Knack.
I've got reader feedback. I
played some Minecraft on 360.
I meant to play Wolfenstein, but then I decided to play Infamous instead.
Why?
I jumped on so I could listen to you talk to Allie in the background and see your dude just standing on a...
The problem is, I don't know if you saw the feed, because I know how, like, when you stream it on the PlayStation, you can, and you say, like, I want to see the credits, the comments, it blocks the screen off. For some reason, Twitch is not, the Twitch integration doesn't work all the time, so it won't, comments from people won't display.
Okay.
So, like, if you were like talking to me, like I could see that someone was watching and I assumed it was you, but if you were talking to me, I couldn't see any of it because it says like...
I didn't send anything because I knew you couldn't see it anyways if I did.
Yeah,
and plus, actually, your feed wasn't even... The text feed, chat feed wasn't even loading on the website.
Well, maybe that's a Twitch problem then.
Dun, dun, dun.
But I know it's hit or miss. By the way, I also found out a way when Grand Theft Auto 5 comes out that we can live stream all of us playing Grand Theft Auto and get us all into like the Twitch channel as far as audio goes.
I hope.
So we have that
okay,
to look
wait.
forward to.
Did they officially say that my game save from this version goes over to that version?
Your online one does.
Yes, your
Yes,
online
not
one does.
your single player stuff. You're screwed out of. Too bad for that. But your multiplayer stuff is all saved online. It's
that
not
game
saved
better
on
be
your-
cheap.
It's not going.
It's gonna be
a
60.
full $60 release.
F that.
What you can hope though is that GameStop pulls what they did with The Last of Us, and maybe
The
they do like a
trade-in
50% off. Like you trade in GTA 5 on PS3 and you get...
Because there was absolutely no way I was going to buy Last of Us on PS4 until that deal popped up.
Well, let's get this show started, shall we? Hello and welcome to What?
Are you recording or am I recording?
I'm recording. I've been recording.
We all record.
I've been recording too.
Oh, you can stop yours. I set it up on Allie's computer, so...
Fine.
Yeah, so take that.
Hate your face.
Shut your
Very
mouth.
nice.
I was talking to Sean, not to you.
Shut your whore mouth, Danner.
You know what?
Hashtag.
I'm tired and I don't feel good, and I will not suffer any of your shit tonight, Sean.
So let's get this over with.
Tonight, like you do every other night.
Actually, no. I usually do I'm the one who's shitting at you.
Do we not want to get this over with?
Let's go.
Hello and welcome to Off the Cuff, episode 53. I'm your host, Michael Powers. I'm joined by, as you've heard, Art Danner. And Joe Reed.
Hello.
And Sean Z. Brown.
Woo!
Boo!
As you've heard in the pre-roll, we are going to be discussing a little GTA 5, a little Last of Us Remastered, some Knack. I think that's about it.
We're going to talk about
plasma
how
donations.
Yeah, we can talk about that. But first, in fashion, reader feedback, listener feedback, reader feedback. You read our podcast. It's been transcribed somewhere.
I know some transcriptionists who will do this for a fee.
That's what they're called, transcriptionists?
Yes. My wife does that for
they're not
police
called
departments.
transcribers?
Nope.
That's dumb.
You're
I don't like
dumb.
that name.
You're dumb.
I am dumb. That's why I'm allowed to call other things dumb. It's like me being fat. I know what else is fat. Me being stupid, I can point out other dumb things.
Okay.
Well,
Eric Hutchins says, impressive collection you got there. Just seeing the Virtual Boy brings back many headaches I suffered through trying to play that. That's one thing about Nintendo. When they fail big.
And frequently.
And Connor Murphy followed it up with, I remember trying to play the Virtual Boy at Toys R Us one time, and it was looking into the darkest parts of my soul. I think I've only tried to play the Virtual Boy like twice, and it was at a Toys R Us.
Thankfully,
I've
never gotten the headaches. I'm very glad.
I've never tried to play it in a casual setting.
I need to. Both of mine have decided to take a crap at the same time. The right eye goes staticky and starts to track up. From what I hear, it's an easy fix. I just don't know anybody who can do it. It's similar to wrap it in a towel, put it in the oven. But
so it's the 360 fix.
Yes, it's a 360 fix, but a little more technical than that. You got to take it apart first.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
and then you got to bake cookies.
And then Danner, of course, followed it up with, "Oh, so it's like playing the newest Thief game."
I'm sorry, I have a lot of hate for that new Thief game. It makes me not want to play games anymore.
I played the original Thief and felt much better. It almost washed the taste of Thief. What do they call it? Out of my mouth, anyway.
Bile?
Taste of poop.
Semen.
It's like semen and bile.
Okay, so obviously last week, Seanzi went on a tirade against other Geekcast radio podcasts.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Who's joining us? Is that Xander? Danner muted himself.
Maybe.
Anyways, so last week, Seanzi went on a one-man war against other podcasts on Geekcast Radio.
It was just Altered Geek. Don't make it sound like it was a giant war.
I think I made a pull bag crack in there too. I can't remember.
Anyways, the next three comments have to do with those remarks that were made.
Before you bash other podcasts, please go listen to my interview with Bobby Kernow and Mike Blanchard, and I did that, TFG1 Mike. So go check that pull bag out. I like that one.
Is that because you were on there?
I was on that one, yeah.
Okay. So Connor Murphy says, so is there beef now between the Geekcast Radio Network podcasts with Off the Cuff firing the first shots at Altered Geek?
We're going to make a beef.
In the 90s, we had East versus West rappers, and now we have the war of GCRN. My only question is, do you do gang symbols on? How do you do gang symbols on a podcast?
Dude,
there
I'm totally Biggie, and I'm gonna get shot.
The drama is thick, and I'm loving it. How would you do
the only way for us to do gang symbols is to send them in Picto Chat on our DSs.
Like, how would you even do? Like, what would the off-the-cuff gang sign even be?
It would be a sound effect, dude. Yeah, you flash up the sound effect. We need a soundboard, we just need Sean to go ooh.
No, I think at this point it would be.
It's all of us using our 360 controllers to make when people hold them up to their face to make a mask.
No,
I
think it would be the. I think it's the Game Boy turning on. Ding.
If you give me like 3 minutes, I can have that sound.
Yeah, I don't have 3 minutes for you.
I don't have 3 minutes either.
Ryan Hannity says, I've never heard of a podcaster beef battle before, but that's pretty funny. We had epic rap battles of history, now podcast battles. That evolution makes sense to me. Of course, I would like to point out that he put we had epic rape battles. So sir, if you meant rape,
Joe, speaking of that,
then
how
yes.
And then Justin Washington said, there would be an Anchorman-like brawl with all the different podcasts. The question is, who is Brick? You need Triton for it to work.
Stab a man in the heart.
Who would be Brick? I think Joe would be Brick.
I don't understand the reference,
Shawnee's
so
Brick.
I'll agree with you.
Shawnee's Brick?
Isn't Brick the dumb one? No.
Oh, well, I guess if we're going to go with the mentally deficient one, I guess it would. Yeah, I honestly do kind of think that Sean would be the sportscaster.
Yeah.
I can't get loud enough to be Will Ferrell's character.
Oh, Anchorman, never saw it.
Maybe we'd like throw a wrench into it, and you would be that what's his name, Ben Stiller, as the Mexican guy from the Latin channel.
Let's pick one of the whitest guys here to be the Mexican guy.
No, number 12.
Well, he does wear the Hawaiian shirts, and that's where most Mexicans are from, right? Hawaii.
Brian Jackson bit hard into the Wolfenstein apple that Shanzi brought to the discussion last week. I'm a big fan of the new Wolfenstein. I agree there is something about killing Nazis that just feels right.
Right?
The world
you don't feel bad after.
The world is a better place when you're allowed to kill Nazis in a video game. I never thought I would say this 5 or 10 years ago, but I wish we had more good World War II games. I hope Call of Duty would get away from the modern combat and go more old school. I still argue it's possible to make a good first-person Civil War shooter. It's
you could
just
only
not
do it.
Happened yet.
See, I beg to differ because I think you could make a really good Civil War shooter.
Oh, he says it is too. He's saying it.
I think you could, but it has to be done on the Wii U. And then in order with the controllers,
it makes you like,
oh god, I got a gun. You have to use your Wii controller and then pack your musket. And it will take at least 5 minutes to do it every single time, and then you'll get one shot off. And
I
then
think
have
that
to
could be a
reload
Kinect
again.
game. I think that could be a Kinect game too.
Imagine the online. You'd have like a giant. What do they call it? The
circle jerk.
Forming ranks. You're lined up with a whole bunch of other players, and one guy's the commander telling you to reload, fire, shoot.
That's screaming for a Leroy Jenkins.
Then what would the troll be in that situation? Instead of throwing flashbangs, he'd like throw small box blankets on his buddies.
And then you're just poisoned for the rest of the match.
Yeah, you're just guys like,
for you. Here's a smallpox blanket for you.
You have contracted dysentery.
So basically, what it is, everyone would get one shot, and then the rest of the match would be like a melee combat.
Yeah, that's exactly what it would be.
With bayonets, yeah.
So, Ryan Hannity said, "I don't see." Ryan Hannity says, "I don't see how a Civil War shooter would work. I could imagine gamers complaining when reload times take 5 minutes." Danner said, "I'd be pissed if the reload time was shorter than 5 minutes."
a well-trained soldier can get 3 shots in a minute. 3 in a minute. That means one shot every 30 seconds. Yeah, it means one shot every 30 seconds. Now sit and just count to 30.
So would it be like Call of Minutemen?
Oh my god, it would be 10-minute matches on multiplayer would be amazing.
The winner has 1 kill. Like the winning team has.
This isn't soccer. I'm sorry, football.
Soccer.
Booth would be in heaven because his accuracy would be out of sight. He'd only get 2 shots off in an entire match anyway.
Well, his accuracy might be off of sight. If he only gets 2 shots off in the match and he misses one, or he misses both,
well, due to the fact that he's so used to sitting still and not moving, I think it'd be okay.
The question is there bullet drop?
There would be.
There's no bullet accuracy. Rifling hasn't been invented yet.
See, on the Wii version of the game, if you tip your musket too far forward, your bullet will just roll out. The
bullet just rolls out. Oh man, you forgot to put your socks on. You lost your feet in the winter. Oh well, shit's over.
Let's see here. I think Brian Jackson then clarifies he should have been more clear. I meant more story-based first-person Civil War games. I guess
like
so Assassin's Creed. I mean, I mean, obviously
it's Assassin's Creed Unity, but it only takes place completely in the homestead, and you never leave the homestead.
God. Let's see.
Connor, can you help me woo this woman? I'm gonna be over here blowing things up,
or whatever they did back then. I don't even know.
Ryan Hannity also, Joe, gives you props on your game collection. He also asked if he can come over and play. I could spend days there and not get bored. Pretty sure Joe would just end up locking him in the basement.
Before he gets to the video game.
That's part of the reason that I had the thing is I want people to come over and hey, let's hook that up and play it. Yeah, I like doing that, but it maybe happens twice a year, maybe once a year.
See, now we just use Joe's collection for
like noises. Look at what our friend has, huh?
It's just for noises in the podcast.
Yeah.
Quick, go start up your Game Boy so we can hear it go. Meh.
That's pretty much what it's there for.
It's handier than I thought it was. It's sitting right here on the floor with the AC adapter. I can plug it right in.
I'll go ahead and do it then.
All right. I have to unplug something.
Unplug the computer.
All right.
Yeah, unplug the computer.
I got to track where this... Okay, good. That's to the portable hard drive. I can unplug that one. All right.
And Joe's gone for the rest of the night.
That would be the funniest
here.
thing.
Let me make sure my volume is up.
Oh no, I was running Windows off of my portable hard drive.
Ready? Okay, here we go.
There's your game sign.
That's it.
Anybody else just get a boner?
That's our one sound per episode.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a wild guess that you got Tetris in there.
I think you're right.
No, that's not Tetris. That's Dr. Mario.
Yeah, that's my ringtone, isn't it? I don't even know.
Yeah, it is your ringtone.
Excellent.
Why are you asking us what your ringtone is?
Because
you're the only one that hears that when it goes off, right? We don't hear it on the other end.
My ringtone's pretty sweet.
Danner's ringtone on my phone is was it Spectacular Spider-Man?
Nice.
I don't even know what mine is right now. Oh no, mine's no Batman, well, but like the old from Adam West show.
The text alert for
so
Danner
you mean
is
the 66 Batman?
Yeah.
There you go.
So one more comment, and I saved this one for last because it might spawn a little bit of a discussion.
Nope.
Okay, so I'll read it and then we can just move on. When you were talking about Wolfenstein having the original game, it made me wonder about other great gems like that in other games. Do you guys have any favorite secret bonuses or anything from games you can think of?
Surgical Simulator 2014.
What, have the space?
Surgical Simulator 2014, that if you go around and you screw around with the computer in the game, you can actually, if you can manage to do it, you can actually put a diskette into the computer and boot up the original Doom and then try with the super awesome controls on a keyboard in the game trying to play Doom on a computer.
Huh.
What was the Metal Gear one where you if you went to sleep? Was that a different game? If you went to sleep
and then you woke up
somewhere else.
Wasn't Metal Gear 4 and you woke up at the original level?
No, that's one of the ones we brought up last week was Metal Gear 4. When you go back to Shadow Moses, you actually play the opening to that in the the 1998 PlayStation version.
Or the end of number 2 where it starts freaking out and does cutscenes from the original Metal Gear on Nintendo.
See, there's that, but there's another one that a character, was it you, Sean, that was telling us about this? If you go to sleep and you wake up.
No, that was in Wolfenstein.
No. There's another one.
That's what I was talking about.
All right.
You go to sleep and your guy has a nightmare and he wakes up in the original Wolfenstein.
I feel like that's done somewhere else too in another game.
Probably.
But I feel like we've talked about it before. I just can't remember what.
I was gonna say it's not really hidden, but I always liked, what was it? Is it X-Men Legends? Or maybe it wasn't Legends. It was one of those, the Ultimate Alliance games or Legends, where you do the arcade level and you get trapped in the arcade machine and you're playing Pitfall with Wolverine.
It wasn't really a bonus level, but I remember one where you're playing pinball too, and your guys are the characters. It's not really a bonus level or anything or special. You have to do it, but I just thought that was fun.
Is that Ultimate Alliance? Because that's the level you find Blade in the
Yeah, it's the first
Pinball
one.
machine. Yeah, so that's all the
Yeah.
first Ultimate Alliance.
I think in Donkey Kong Country, one of the three of them, there's a way you can play the original Donkey Kong arcade, but I can't remember the specifics of that either.
It's not the first one. I feel like I need that one inside and out.
It was a Cranky Kong joke, I'm sure.
There was. It wasn't real. I mean, it wasn't that good. But in the original Call of Duty Black Ops, you could bust out of the chair, turn around, go on a computer, and play Zork.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I don't know how much of Zork was actually in it though.
Not really like a hidden thing or anything like that. But in Super Mario RPG, the first one, Legend of the Seven Stars, there was you could get a Game Boy in that game. And so there was like a mini game inside of it that was a lot of fun. You just like kind of mash the button as hard as you can. I remember getting blisters on all of my fingers trying to play that game because it's like there's like ladybugs that are crawling down the screen and you're shooting something at the bottom towards the top to like kill them all, and it has to do with how fast you can tap the button on the controller. I remember playing that. I don't know.
My brain is farting here. Like that's.
Maybe we can do some more. We can look into that some more. I could give Joe another assignment to not do.
Yeah, because I was gonna say
It's coming.
Hey Joe, get on that assignment right after you finish Half-Life 3, would you? That'd be a fantastic idea.
All right. So, what do we want to talk about first? Do we want to talk about The Last of Us, or do we want to talk about GTA 5, or something else? Anyone?
Okay, you quiet people.
No
I played GTA 5 with Mike the other day, and it was awesome.
Yes, it was. We found out how to basically. I've had the entire week off of work, and I was trying to find ways to pass the time, and I've been
jerking off, chafed after a while. So.
Nah, I don't really do that when my wife's home too. I've been watching a bunch of YouTube videos of like the Inside Gaming guys playing GTA 5 and doing like a lot of the user created content, and some of it's just really funny. And I was like, I want to do this. So of course I asked Joe if he was available, and he was. So after fumbling around, we figure out how to add user created content into the playlist. We just started doing some of them were really fun. Others were just
train wrecks,
and some of them
not
were
literal train wrecks either, not even the cool kind, just really bad train wrecks.
I don't know. I think the ones that were like the motorcycle trying to cross the pond.
Okay. Let's talk about that
exactly
level.
The one you're talking about, and boy, is that a pain in the ass.
I did it on like my third try.
Well, it's fine. The least number of people you have, the better, because the more times you go across, the ramps actually get pushed.
Really?
Every time you touch them. So I was playing with like 6 people. After the third person, everyone keeps fucking up because you're bumping into each other. It got to a point where like the ramps in the middle had separated.
Oh wow!
So you had to like in the middle of it take a right hand turn, jump back left, then jump back in the middle.
I give up.
I was riding the quad. I thought the 4 wheels was going to lead to more stability. No, it just you get 2 wheels off. Boom, it pulls the rest of the way.
At that point, I cheated. Because you can drive around the right-hand side and just go around the lake.
I feel like they fixed it because when I got to the other side of the lake, there was the guy set it up so you had to go and jump over a wall. Once you got to the other side.
Oh, maybe it's different. I don't know.
So I think he figured out that people were doing that when they got frustrated. Because when I got over there, I didn't just drive away. There's a wall that makes you turn around, and then you drive out to the end of an island, like a peninsula. And then you have to turn around and get a running start towards a ramp that launches you over the wall. So
I don't know.
I think maybe he did fix that. But the only thing that I had against it, doing any of it, was a lot of it was just Joe and I and one other person.
Yeah.
Even though we were trying to get as many people as we possibly could, Joe and I did have a whole lot of fun doing the windmill deathmatch.
Oh yes, that one. Get your windmill and launched you.
But it was just Joe and I.
Yeah,
that would be fun with 5-10 people.
The fun thing with that, if you can do it, is if you land back on the platform, you live. Doesn't kill you.
I don't know.
I did it several times.
Yeah, if you get knocked up, as long as you land back on the platform, you live. If you go past you won't even go into the falling animation. Really, if you miss it, then you fall to your death. Okay. I've got thrown up went back down, got hit again, and it just launched me. And it wouldn't let me respawn until I died. And so it took me like 40 seconds to die because it whipped me to the other side of the world.
One of the other matches that we did was, and it was just Joe and I again, was a race that took place in the wind farm where all the checkpoints are on top of the turbines.
Take ramps and launch through them.
And I was very surprised that was as easy as it was. I thought that any kind of angle going into that ramp that you'd end off getting rocketed left or right. But no, if you hit the ramp, there was a good chance you were.
I'm sorry, Joe. What do you have to do for those ramps?
You hit them straight up the middle.
You have to invest in them?
Yes.
Invest.
Invest. Go ahead and tell the story.
We're on the wind turbine match, and I was lagging behind because I missed one. I went off the ramp the wrong way, and I missed the checkpoint, so I had to go back and do it again. And Joe got really far ahead, so I was kind of listening to what he was saying about the races or about the jumps as he was going. And all of a sudden, he's just like, "Oh, this is a big one. Invest." And I was like,
what the fuck?
Because I guess like there was like a downhill like leading to like
you just
ramp.
gotta go.
Yeah, basically it's like you have to commit to doing it. And he was like, he kind of like there's a hem and a haw in his voice, and then he was just like, invest. And I was like, invest? He's like, I couldn't think of the word.
You mean commit? Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Oh man.
So now that's going to be the new thing.
But
whenever
I just wanted to get into it and find those so that I could favorite them. So when we get it on the PS4, that it's easier to find them and have fun with them.
I have playlists I have tons of them.
Yeah, I think that's going to be our first off the cuff T-shirt. Is it'll just say off the cuff on the front, and the back in really big letters it'll just say invest.
I think it should say invest on the front. That way no one knows what it is. We should make those up for Grand Con.
But say invest on the front, and instead of saying off the cuff, you just write on the cuff, like
invest on the cuff.
Just write the cuff on the cuff of the shirt, and then have it so it was removable. So never mind. I'm done now.
That's a really elaborate shirt there, buddy.
I love how your idea for people not to know what it is to switch where the invest is. Like, does anyone gonna fucking know, really? Like, you're gonna have some stranger be like, oh, off the cuff, invest out of nowhere. Like,
you don't
There's
know.
At least 20 people that'll know.
Well, it's great. I mean, I just walk around Grand Rapids and people like see me at Toys R Us and they look at me and they squint. And then they point at me and go, aren't you the geek sale guy? And like, yeah. And so someday if I'm out there wearing that shirt, somebody's going to look at that and say, invest? I was there when that
Are you looking for backers for the Greek garage sale? What's going on?
No, I should, but no.
So yeah, I mean, I've always had fun with the online portion of GTA 5 with bombing around with Joe. I will say one of the races we did early on was like, I think it was like a leftover from their 4th of July stuff.
Yeah.
Where we were you're in the Liberator.
Yep.
Going over the mountain, and that thing sucks because the entire time we were doing it, I was like, I could totally be done with this track if I had my Mustang. Because my Mustang, for whatever reason, does really well off-road. Like,
I've watched him get out of his car, shoot the 4 tires out of it, and get back in so that he can go off-roading more successfully. It's got to be a glitch in the numbers there that thing handles so well. With the tires blown out over dirt.
Well, in Ford, you could go faster without tires in GTA 4. I don't know if that's a thing still.
I just know it's a lot easier to go over the mountains with my Mustang than it was with that truck. So, but
another some of the cool things you'll see on there, if you read the descriptions, sometimes they'll create a map and they intend you to play it a certain way. Like you pretty much have to be playing with people you know, though.
Yeah.
So that because someone not playing that way could just fuck with everything. Like there's this one match. It's a capture match where you're in a soccer field. A thing spawns in the middle. You have to run and then run past them. So if they use guns, they can just shoot you. But you're supposed to use melee weapons only.
Okay.
It gets really fun. I made my own version of the map, but I spawned just random NPCs with baseball bats. Tons of them. So you run through like dink, 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 dink. Like,
so are there paintball guns in the game?
No,
because there was a match.
Yeah, I remember that map.
There was a verified match that we loaded in, but we didn't play it because we were having.
It's called paintball, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All it is that it's supposed to be a
just like a gun range, like a
kind of like a very intense gun range where you put big teams on. So you don't so most maps that people make that for big teams have like tanks and rocket launchers. This one's supposed to be just guns, so it's all about cover and running and shooting. And I seen someone who made like the same type of map, probably was the same guy, and did capture. So you have to kind of work as a team to get through to the middle, because if somebody just tries to run, you're gonna get mowed down.
I mean, how fun would that be to like? Maybe it's just me, but how fun would it be to like tool around in like a vehicle and everyone has paintballs and just go around shooting other people in the world? You don't kill them; you just cover them.
I don't think you guys played early enough. Were you guys able to buy the muskets?
No,
I saw it, but I didn't want to buy it because it was like $60,000 or something.
It's expensive, and it is a musket. It shoots once, and then you have to reload it, and it doesn't reload fast. What's really fun is games where everyone just uses those. Because if me and you were standing and I shoot you, anything like mid chest or head, kills you instantly with that gun. It's really powerful. But you can wing them too. But like if I shoot you and wing you and I reload them in that animation, you can run up and just clock me with the gun and get an instant kill. Because a melee with a weapon butt is an instant kill. So there's a lot of these tense moments where the person's just charging you and you're like, but in the last second you shoot them, their body just falls at your feet and you're like, man, that was close. And then you see that the two more guys are running at you and you're like, well, shit. And like,
there's a couple other tracks that I want to try, like raises that are, there's one that we never loaded up because again, having trouble people to join us, but it's basically like a Hot Wheels course. It's a figure 8. And in the middle, there's just like jumps, like crisscross jumps.
I know that one.
Which, I mean, I've found like several of them. I just think that those would be so much fun to play because you can get totally screwed over,
I'll be available around noon tomorrow.
There is a map. I cannot remember the name
of it tomorrow, but I have all Friday off.
How dare you? Working.
I've got a kid, but I'll be available 1:30.
Okay. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Although this is probably an interesting question, and we can kind of dovetail this into talking about The Last of Us on the PS4. If Dan, are you still here?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure because you haven't said anything, which is understandable.
Because it's Grand Theft Auto 5?
Right. So when we're playing Grand Theft Auto 5, I kept bringing up the fact of, playing it on the PS4, blah, 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 blah. And Joe, what did you say exactly? It was...
It's disappointing that all the games that we're looking forward to on the PS4 are remastered versions of last-gen games.
Now, my reaction to that was, I hate Joe, but the reason I'm excited for GTA 5 and I was looking forward to like The Last of Us is the same reason I was kind of like happy for like the Sly Cooper stuff and like the HD remakes that they did for the PS2 or the PS3, I mean, because I want to play those games, but I don't want to have to lug out another system. Like I want to play Grand Theft Auto 5. I have fun playing Grand Theft Auto 5, but I want to play it on the PS4 because I don't like the PS3. The PS4 is just a lot better. That's where I came from. It's like I want to play these games, but I don't want to use like the old systems.
I want to play those games too without needing to have two big consoles hooked up upstairs, but I also don't want to spend another $60 on them, and I don't want to have to spend $400 to buy the system to play a game that I could have played last gen already. I don't think they're spending their effort. They're putting their effort on the right things. They're money grabs. Yes, they're making money. Yes, people are buying them, but I just don't think it's a healthy way to start the next generation.
I feel like Grand Theft Auto falls into that category of being the money grab, I guess, but it's Rockstar, so I don't think it's just a straight up like shiny port. I think there might be some subtle changes made to possibly the user interface, like just to make the menus a little more fluid. But in The Last of Us defense, I kind of understand that one because that was a late end of the cycle game.
It was the last big title to come out for the PS3.
Well, that's not necessarily true because
Last exclusive.
Okay, the last big exclusive. But I think the reason that one got ported was because there were a lot of people that came to the PS4 that didn't have a PS3, and so they probably felt that they could make that grab with everyone that made the switch to a completely different platform, and they would finally be able to get to play that game. That's how I see The Last of Us. It was just.
And what about Tomb Raider? Money grab?
Tomb Raider's got to be a money grab because I mean, part of me looks at like anything that has a PC release, especially with the new console hardware being much closer to PCs than they were in the past. I feel like anything that has a PC release is going to end up, with the next gen port. At some point in time, which is one of the reasons why like I can see Borderlands coming if Gearbox really wanted to make some more money.
Not off of me, suckers.
No, but I'm just like there are people that like me that would play Borderlands again. But Tomb Raider had a PC release, so it was only like adjust a couple sliders here and there in their engine, and all of a sudden, look, we have a PS4 Xbox One release, and we can it didn't cost us that much more money, and here it is. So now we might be able to break even, or at least be considered a success in Square Enix's eyes. And then we can get Tomb Raider 2, which is coming next year.
Yeah.
So, and we'll agree, like a lot of the stuff that we've been seeing have been ports, but that's kind of, I think, and I could be completely wrong, but I feel like, and this is what I said to Joe, is that I feel like that's kind of what happened with the last generation. Only for me, I didn't get the 360 when it came out, and I didn't get the PS3 when they came out. I waited a year. They were both out for a year when I picked them up, but they were also out for much longer than any other console before them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if it's one of those things where it's like people don't remember what the first wave was like the first.
Well, the one that comes to me was King Kong that came out.
Well, there's also Gun. You remember Gun?
And Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, and Call of Duty 2.
Yep, I remember that.
And Perfect Dark Z.
Oh my god!
But I think what I was trying to like compare more to was the ones that were cross-gen. Was King Kong only on the 360? King Kong was
cross-gen,
No, King Kong was cross-gen.
Oh, I thought it was only on 360.
No, it was on Xbox also.
And when I look at those, they're not next-gen titles. I mean, okay, Nintendo Wii, when somebody came out with a game on 360 or PS3, Ghostbusters releases on those two systems. The Wii got the dumbed-down version, different thing. The King Kong that came out on the regular Xbox and the 360, that was the same game with slightly better graphics, higher resolution on the 360.
Slightly, very slightly.
Yeah, and I think I guess in the whole defense of everything, I don't think we've seen as good. Well, of course we haven't. First year the thing's been out, we haven't seen a next gen game yet. Everything that we've seen is that halfway between stuff where they weren't sure what the settings were going to be or what the final specs were going to be.
Yep.
So they're playing it cautious. We haven't seen what these next gen games are going to look like. But I'm still disappointed that they spent all this time porting Grand Theft Auto over instead of working on a DLC.
But see, that's the thing. I don't see Grand Theft Auto as being a port because, like I said, it's coming to the PC as well. It's not just a next gen release. It's one of those. It's releasing on the PC. Well, they're about the same. Let's just do the other ones. Yeah, you want to see story DLC, but I mean, who says that's not coming as well? It's like a port isn't like the hardest thing in the world to do, especially when you're already making it for the PC.
Which is why they shouldn't charge me $60 again. That's my problem.
It's 2K and Rockstar, or Take-Two and Rockstar, so they will.
And it breaks my heart.
Tries to do something for you.
I don't think they will because there's so many copies of Grand Theft Auto. I mean, those things are in the $15 bin. It wouldn't surprise me already.
Actually, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised to see Sony pull something.
That would make me happy. But
given that they are the ones that announced it, and they're probably trying to make Grand Theft Auto a PlayStation thing again, I mean, I don't know if I'd necessarily make it a prediction, but I wouldn't be surprised. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, if you own it on the PS3, you can get a digital copy of it for the PS4 for like $30.
Well, I sure as hell hope not, because I would like to play on the PS4.
Wait, I mean, but you bought it for the wrong system in the first place.
I bought it for the only system I had. Should have bought it for the PlayStation 3 anyways.
Well, dear listeners, I have decided that I'm going to end up with a PS4, and to get there, I'm going to sell parts of my body. Just my plasma. Plasma, Sean. Don't get your hopes up, Sean. It's just plasma.
It's not my hopes. I want you to get up.
Not enough money in the world.
I'm wondering how much of this generation.
Hey, Joe, you're right. There is not enough money, but there's certainly enough duct tape.
I wonder how much of this generation is going to be like graphics, and how much of it is going to be look what we can do with the internet.
Well, I think that's what they wanted everything to be, especially Microsoft being this is your device in the living room with the Xbox One. And then that's not what people wanted yet. It's not what consumers are after, having that all in one device.
People aren't ready to get rid of all their other boxes.
Well, no, yet. But I'm talking about like from the one thing that Microsoft was trying to do is say that their console always needed to be connected to the internet, which in turn would allow developers to know that hardware will always have an internet connection, so they can build games around that. There are several
where
games
internet connectivity is a crucial part of the game.
Yeah, I mean there are several games coming
system.
that like more or less take inspiration from Journey, like Destiny, for example. Like you need to be online for like if you're online, people will just show up in your game and you can fight alongside them. I'm wondering how much of like next generation is going to be that type of like
Division.
The Division's like that, Destiny's like that, The Crew is like that. I mean, Ubisoft is making a big push for that kind of next generation. Like
they're putting multiplayer stuff, serious multiplayer elements into their next Assassin's Creed game,
right? But not just as like a separate multiplayer menu, like that's built into the core game thing. So I'm wondering, like I said, I wonder how much of this generation is going to be graphics and how much is just going to be look what we can do with the internet.
Well, like the filthy casual that I am, I hope that they can integrate that always on online kind of living game world without making me have to play 10 hours a week to keep up with everybody else. And I think they'll manage. I have a feeling that it's going to be a lot better than
with you getting that. A PS4, I'm almost half tempted to ask Danner to let you borrow Need for Speed and to possibly buy you a copy of The Crew. Because this fall for me, like, again, there's only like a few titles this fall that I'm actually interested in. And Allie and I watched like a 30 minute like preview of The Crew, like of actual gameplay stuff from The Crew.
Give me a synopsis. I haven't paid attention to it.
It's a racing game, obviously.
Okay.
But it's all like open world. You pick up missions while you're driving from place to place, and you have the entire United States. There's like they made a anthropomorphize, I guess is that the right?
No, that's give it human characteristics.
Okay, what's the one where you just like a characterization or what is it? A caricature. A caricature of the United States.
Cool.
So everything's a lot closer than it would be. Like it takes like 15 minutes to drive from Detroit to St. Louis.
That's still pretty big, though.
Right, and no, these places are huge. So you have
that's as to scale with Grand Theft Auto. If it had the whole world or whole U.S., I think that would be comparable measurement there.
Basically, it's an open world online racer where everyone is. I mean, you can and there's fast travel, so you can fly to other parts of the country, or you can drive there. But Allie and I watched like a 30-minute thing on it yesterday, and she's actually interested in it, which was kind of weird for a racing game.
I'm concerned how interested I am in getting the PS4, considering there's nothing I think I want for it that's out right now.
Yeah.
Towerfall Ascension.
Evolve.
Is that out? That's not out.
Well, he said out right now.
Yeah, but you're not gonna. By the time you donate enough plasma to actually get a PlayStation 4, Evolve will be out.
I'll be 25% the way there Monday.
And half dead.
So at the very least, I mean, if you donate all through August, you should be able to pick it up in time to get Destiny, which is September 9th.
Don't know if I want Destiny yet.
Well, See, I want to share some stuff that I heard about Destiny, but at the same time, I don't.
Like what?
That what we saw was actually 25% of the game.
I heard. Well, I mean, if there's only going to be 20 levels, and by the end of that, without grinding, you can get to level 8. That wouldn't surprise me at all. But we'll tell you what. The one thing I have heard: after you reach level 20, you're going to start doing these things called raids.
Mm-hmm.
Raids can have 6 people instead of just 3.
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of like
that's how you
content.
farm for stuff. But that kind of puts at least a little bit to rest of our issue of only being able to play with 3 people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about it because I had fun with the beta. Like I had a lot of fun with it, and I was still having fun with it when it ended. Like there was a tipping point for me where
admit it, the funnest we had was when we said, "Fuck the game, let's try to kill the question mark guys."
Yes, and then we pushed them off a cliff.
Yeah,
with
we did.
Jet bikes. That
we
was
used
fun.
the jet bikes and launched them at them like torpedoes, and like you hit them just on the side and nudges them like an inch at a time. And so I think we probably died like 50 times.
Well, yeah, but when you get 3 of us lined up together to hit him, he ends up getting pushed off the cliff, which was a lot of fun.
And he dies.
But I'm
unkillable boss. We murdered him.
Yep, we killed 2 of them.
Within like 5 minutes of each other too. Pretty impressive.
I'm okay. Like what I played was just fun, and if it's like 4 times that in the final game, that's fine. I know that they're building a world, and with them spending, I mean, I know the number was like $500 million, but that includes advertising and stuff like that for the game and marketing. But I don't expect. I was never expecting. I was expecting them to release a platform. And that Destiny is the first of a planned trilogy, and I would expect with what they've done that it'll end up being like Mass Effect, where you carry your character over.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming.
Which might be why there's only 20 levels in the first one, because then then you go to level 40 and then 60. Blah, blah, blah.
When if they're confident enough to come out and say, "Hey, there's only 20 levels, and yeah, all you beta people who got this bite-sized smidgen of it got to level 8 of it," that they must feel really confident about their end game, whatever they're going to call it here. And I hope that it doesn't stop at raids, because when they say raids, I think of 4 gigantic things that you go and kill with a team and not much else. I'm hoping that maybe there's 20 of these events, and they're spontaneous, and they are what's the word, emergent, that you go there and it can happen a certain way, and it can happen a completely different way when you go back and do it again.
I think there were like types of. I think we saw types of raids in the beta, which were like in the black zones. That was like a type of a raid. Also, the other part of this too is I feel like I'm on the outside of this looking in, because this is they did very much create an MMO first-person shooter, and I've never played an MMO. Has anyone here ever played like an MMO? I know you played City of Heroes.
Art and I have. Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, I have.
So, I mean, did that feel like that to you? Like.
Close,
The hub world did a lot. The hub world reminded me a lot of most of the MMOs.
And now that we have headsets and things, we don't need that keyboard that I thought we were always going to need with an online MM or a console-based MMO. It's like, I'm going to need a keyboard, or I can't talk to my friends. Frick, I got a headset now.
But now I can't, program witty sayings into the computer.
Oh God, Art, we had so much fun doing that. In City of Heroes, I had a character named Modeling Agent Steve, and he was he summoned these zombies. And the zombies I had named after several different famous supermodels, Kate Moss and whatever. And I had little keybinds, so they would say things like, "I'm so hungry," and it was great. Anyway, and
time to purge.
Well, we had time to purge, blah, and that was their puke attack.
And then I had the Game Stopper.
That's right.
Who was ran into in battle yelling, "Questions or trades?" and then when he called in his minions, it was Kratos and Mario.
That's right.
And my favorite emote though they did was when the Game Stopper yelled, "Let the Dance Dance Revolution begin," and all the minions started dancing.
Oh gosh, I loved that game. That was so much fun.
So when I was playing DC Universe Online, I made a character they called El Capitano Planeto, and he looked like Captain Planet, but he was Mexican. Like, I don't know why he was Mexican, but I changed all of his. I changed my keyboard to Spanish.
It's
On
because
a scale of 1 to Taco.
Tell me he had a giant handlebar mustache.
Wait, what?
On a scale of 1 to Taco Mariachi Band, how racist was your El Captain Planeto?
If I could have wore a sombrero, I would have. There wasn't one of I hadn't unlocked one yet. I'm sure there was one in that game, but I didn't. But I will say one thing about getting back to Destiny though is that there may only be 20 levels, but the way they get around that is like we maxed out level 8 pretty quick, but your abilities aren't tied to your level at all. You earning experience gets those. What your level determines is the gear you can use.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that if we had played the beta nonstop around the clock, you could have unlocked almost all the abilities they had on tap for the characters. Plus, I think each character has 3 different abilities that they can choose from.
Yeah,
I saw that.
We can't. You weren't allowed to unlock the subclasses or anything. So,
right.
Who knows how that changes it?
So
plus like my main assault rifle, my sniper rifle, and my rocket launcher all had been leveled up.
Yep.
Different things that dramatically changed it. Like my assault rifle, if I shot from the hip, it was fully automatic, but when I pulled it up, it slowed the rate of fire way down.
Yeah, I
and
had
it increased the damage like crazy.
I had a couple of blue items that I found in the last 2 days.
I found a bunch of blue, couldn't use none of them.
That each one had like 6 or 7 weapon unlocks.
Oh yeah,
attached to them. So yeah,
tons of different things that really affect the way that you use that gun. Like for my sniper, I had one where it was it had 2 different options. Once you unlocked it, you could switch between the 2. One option was you're reloaded slower, but if you crouched, you could zoom in more. You'd get like an extra layer of zoom. So if you crouch with that scope on, you could shoot really far. If you switch to the other scope, it almost had a little bit. If you just tried to quick scope people, you'd get a boost that way. So different how you would use that gun, change it to however you like it.
Yeah. So I mean, even if but also to say this with when we chose to throw caution to the wind and say F it, we're just gonna mess around with these question mark guys. Like that world, just old Russia, is actually really big.
Yeah,
like we found a whole other area that none of us ever went to because like I went over there once and I saw all question mark guys, and so I was like, I'm never gonna come over here again. But when we went on our hunt to try and kill question mark guys, and we're just trying to find more of them, I was like, I know where some more are. So we went over to where they were and found a whole bunch and a whole other section of the map that no one ever touched. A whole underground section that leads to where the big raid is in the game. And it was in the beta. Like it's a back door to that.
Oh, you and I found a little hidden passageway. Must have maybe you thought it was a monster closet, but it was a very big elaborate monster closet.
Okay. Yep. Joe, the entire time you were thinking that in my head I was saying Joe's asshole, and the more you kept saying just made it better.
But yeah, I mean that what they showed in the beta, what most people saw and what is actually there, I feel like there's a lot more there than what people actually saw.
All right, I'm kind of convinced.
So like and from the get-go, like I kind of, always said like this is kind of gonna be like Borderlands turned into this. It's like let's just turn it on. The 4 of us can go and just do a run on Nox.
A couple of 100 times.
Yeah, but like that's what Borderlands turned into. I mean, when all was said and done.
Who just cares that we get to level 60 while level 20 in this case that fast? We're that just means we get to screw around. That just faster.
Means your loot is better.
Exactly. You go and find stuff to make the game fun, like we did when we were like, let's go take care of these these question mark guys. Let's just go F around. And what was even better is because of the way Destiny's set up, you're in a world with other people started joining in with us, and they couldn't.
Oh yeah, some random dude started attacking these question marks on them.
Okay, the question mark guys. It sounds like they're people who give you missions.
No, question mark guys. It's a boss, right? He's so overpowered. When you look at him, instead of a level popping up, it just gives you 2 question marks.
Yeah, we killed
and then
those guys.
You shoot him, and you're a bullet. He's immune to your bullets.
Except
you shoot him, immune falls off.
We did say that while it says immune, that we were doing damage.
Not to the big guys, only to the minions of the one guy. But they were question marks too. But like the big guys, you weren't doing nothing.
But it was a
lot of fun. The only reason he dies because we literally forced him off of the world.
We had like that Ghostbusters moment where we went into that murder shack at like the beginning of the game where you can find like the first question mark guy, and we were like Jason and Shanzi and I were just standing right outside, and because if you go too far and you look to the right, there's the guy and he'll shoot you and kill you. And I'm just like, okay, all right, hold on, I got a plan, guys. All right. On the count of 3. 1, 2. I'm like, get her! Get her! We all run around the corner and we all died.
So then it became a game of like me going like I'll be like, oh, there's a guy in there. I'm like, oh, get him, and just run into him and immediately die. And of course, the rarer ones when I'd make it all the way in, make it all the way back out, not get touched, then turn around and immediately get obliterated.
Yeah, but what it kind of became was, what are these guys guarding? Because they're super powerful.
There's a reason they're down there.
And so we're just like, let's just like stop trying to shoot them and like let's just run past them. And then it was like really disappointing because they weren't guarding anything.
Well, I just think whatever they are guarding wasn't there.
Right. I mean, that could also be it too. But once like, and when you get to level 20, you'll be able to like bullshit with that kind of stuff. And so the game will like get out of the way, and then you'll just be able to hang out with your friends in this persistent online world. And go and do some stuff. And also,
F you, Mike, I'm convinced.
I could, and I'm not trying to say this to convince anybody, but I feel like just to kill some time on, what was it, Monday? No, what could have been Monday? Maybe Sunday, Friday or Sunday. It wasn't Sunday. It was Friday because I was playing it for a long time on Friday. I went and did some of the Crucible stuff, which is the online multiplayer. And I actually had like an okay time with it when you realize it's just there for something to do, like to kill time. And there you can actually take 6 people and play on an entire team. And I feel like if you could take 6 people with you and just play on an entire team and just bullshit the entire time, I feel like that stuff could be a lot of fun. But again, that's not necessary to like the core game, but I feel like that's just something that could be done. But yeah, I had a lot of fun, especially when I kind of like flipped a switch and was just like, I'm gonna go see what kind of guns I could find. Like I turned the beta into basically an end game thing because I was level 8 and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go see what kind of guns I can find. I'm not gonna be able to use any of them, but I want to go see what's out there. And that got a lot of fun. And then of course it was like the end of the night, and I think what did we do? We killed another hour just trying to kill the question mark guys.
Oh yeah, we were kind of like, oh, we're about ready to get off. Let's do something cool. Let's try to kill the question mark guys. And then it became a game of, I know where there's other ones. Let's go get them. Like,
so
like we spent like probably half an hour on the first guy that we made no progress on, and then Jason, our friend Jason, was like, oh, I know there was another one, and it was he goes to me. He's like, okay, now what you just do is jump over this cliff and land on the edge. I jumped down and nothing was there. I was like, oh, there's nothing here. The guy spawns and lands on my face.
Yep.
Instantly. Like I never saw him when he killed me the first time. He just spawned and like crushed my face with his taint.
So, all right, I feel like Danner's been awfully quiet, so let's talk about The Last of Us Remastered.
Danner.
Yeah, I'm here.
Got anything to say about The Last
I was
of Us?
going to say, I've only played like 15 minutes. I literally played the opening.
Then you can literally walk us through the entire thing.
I literally, played the opening scene and just...
And was there anything different? I've played the opening of it myself, so...
Gorgeous. Just like, I knew the graphics were going to be better. I just didn't think they were going to be that much better.
No.
Now, I don't know if it's just because I've already soaked the game in, I've already played it, that I just noticed more things going on. But like the glistening of the light on his cheeks as the tears are streaming down his face as he's holding his daughter while she dies in his arms
Spoilers.
was just profound to me.
Okay, how old is that game?
There's a bunch of people that haven't played it until Tuesday.
And it's the first 10 minutes of the game.
So, just saying. And I said it after you said it, so it's not like it was a joke.
Yeah, so
well, you can bleep it out if you want. But I know how much work that is, and I know how lazy you are, so I know it's not.
Yeah, because you wouldn't even.
It is, and
yeah, he doesn't bleep out anything, especially the stupid Altered Geek guys.
Hey, let's not start fights with Altered Geek. I mean, we could pick new fights like talking in circles.
Yeah, well, the guy that runs Altered Geek could also cancel our show, and we'd have to find another outlet. It's not like we have any weight to throw around.
But luckily, he thinks it's funny.
And it is.
Well, obviously, I'm doing it as a joke. Well,
I don't know. It's hard to tell.
I was gonna say nobody takes Sean seriously, anyways. I mean, if it was coming from you, people might.
I was gonna say
care since you're on Altered Geek, but
Anyways, Last of Us is pretty.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had the most depressing moment though when I installed Last of Us though. When I got done installing Last of Us and then I went to upload the little GameStop DLC, which I didn't know you got, and the only reason I even put it in was because Joe pointed it out to me on the receipt. I was like, oh, okay.
What is it?
It's skins and
for
like
multiplayer.
100 points of medical something so I can upgrade my guys a little bit at the beginning.
I've actually heard that the factions or whatever it's called is actually really fun.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Okay. All right. But yeah, so I went to download
whatever to say.
that, and then the moment I got done downloading that, a message popped up on my PS4 and goes, "Your hard drive is almost full." I was like, no,
it hasn't even
come out yet.
Year.
Wow.
So I had to delete things off of my hard drive yesterday.
None, and he's full up.
I only have I installed I installed a terabyte in mine, but then I only have I have less than 200 gigs worth of games on there.
I have 33 gigs left of open space after I deleted 5 games off of mine yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to. I just got through. I just got through Injustice story mode, and the likeliness of me going back and playing that is for a while is probably slim. So I'll probably delete that, and I'll probably
it depends.
delete.
I mean, you could always play the multiplayer online. How much do you value your self-respect? Because you'll have none after some of these 12-year-olds beat the shit out of you.
I've made the mistake.
I played that online for 10 minutes.
I've made the mistake of wandering online and playing an online match once in a WWE game, and I would never ever go back online again.
I picked it up yesterday and I played the story DLC, the Left Behind.
So is it separate from so you don't have to
you can play the DLC.
You just load it up.
Yeah. However, it'd be interesting if they would have put that the DLC the way. Have you played it, Danner?
No, I was like, so it was the warning of make sure you play the original game before you play the DLC.
Right. Well,
spoiler wise, right?
The only reason you need to play it first is so that you know where it
takes place.
But that doesn't even.
I was gonna say I know it takes place before essentially the main game. So.
It's both. It takes place before, it takes place in the winter section, and before the main game. It's like you play as while Joel is down. Right?
Okay.
You play as Ellie trying to get him medical supplies.
Okay.
And that is her quest, if you will, is juxtaposed against an earlier story of how she was bitten.
Okay.
So it was really interesting. I had it looked gorgeous, like you said. I think this may be the first time I've seen a case for 60 frames per second versus 30. I know I sent you a message last night, but have you tried toggling the 30 frame per second lock?
I literally, after you sent me that message, is kind of when I stopped playing, and then I haven't been able to pick it up.
I flipped it for like a second because I was like, I don't know if I could. I was like, I don't know if I could play it at 60 frames a second. So I really quickly I locked it to 30, and it looked. I don't want to say it looked worse, but there was a very noticeable difference to it, because you lost half of the frames. And so I flipped it back on and I played the rest of it like that, and that was probably the first time I've seen a very noticeable thing. But that's also the first console game I've ever played where they allow you to lock the frame rate.
Now, I was going to ask, like, did you have any issues with it?
With the 60 frames a second?
Yeah.
No.
Like, was there any time where it chugged or anything? So
no, and I didn't see that. But then again, The Last of Us isn't really the type of game where you're gonna see
I know
that's
why. Yeah, but that's why it doesn't surprise me that a console game, especially now these new systems, holding so many people online at once and so much information, that they would have frame rate locking. But that game boggles my mind because, with the exception of if someone's PS4 shitting the bed, everyone should run exactly the same.
I think what it is some people, first of all, outside of like a Call of Duty or like Titanfall or like first person shooter, we'll say, I don't know that I've actually observed 60 frames a second in a game that I can think of.
Yes, you have.
What?
You've pointed out in Assassins. Shit tons.
Well, okay, yeah, but that's when it's like, that's because there is no lock on Assassins. It's just, it's when you start climbing, it just switches to 60, and it's like, whoa, this is really cool. But like The Last of Us, I think one of the reasons they did that is so that people wouldn't get sick, because sometimes that, when people aren't used to seeing it that way. I know that putting it back at 30 added a level of, it felt like it added like a level of grit to everything that I was seeing. But leaving it at 60, like an unlocked 60, if you will, like there was a level of polish to it that I've never seen before. I had a lot of fun with it. I had the same issues that I did with the main game. Like the humans are the worst. Like clickers.
You mean they're the worst people?
Yes, and like and the enemy, like the clickers and everything like that. Like I have no problem dealing with those things. Those things are not scary. It's the humans that are scary, and I don't like.
You mean as AI speaking, or like their motivations?
Both. But I also like. It fell apart at the end for me because a lot of the game is exploring, both the prequel part and the main, like the main story, like during the game. It's a lot of exploring, just kind of stealthing around until the end of it when it turns into like a shoot 'em up. And I was like, oh, this is so dumb. And I literally died every checkpoint that there was fighting the humans. But I was doing it on expert, and I was just getting really annoyed, like super, super annoyed. But like I said, the checkpoints were like pretty liberal. Like I would die, come back, take out like 3 guys, and then die again. And then I would
those 3 guys would be dead.
Yep, those 3 guys would be dead, and then I get to take out the rest of the guys that were there. And like the guys that are attacking you are like a search party, and it's not like 5 guys. Like they bring like an entire army after you. It's like it's that narrative dissonance that people keep talking about with like Uncharted and stuff like that. Like the gunplay in Last of Us, while it's pretty good and it's much better than
Uncharted,
it hurts the game in my opinion. Like that's where it fell apart to me. That's where I stopped caring about what was happening.
This is a great narrative story. Let me just murder these 50 dudes quick.
Yeah, I mean, if it was like, like a search party of like 5 guys, yeah, like that's fine. But when it's like just wave after wave, like I would clear out, like I do my little listening thing, and I'd see like, okay, there's only 5 guys here. Okay, I'll take these guys out. And all of a sudden, you take out those 5 guys, and then like 10 more will show up, like above you, coming from like the balcony, and it's like, but the entrance to the mall is right there. Why aren't they all coming through there? How are they already past me the way that I walked? Like, why did I not engage them somewhere else? Like the monster closet is where
monster closet.
Yeah, the monster closet is where the game falls apart. But I did enjoy it, and I totally don't.
Every
feel
time you
bad
say monster closet, we're gonna think of Joe's butt.
Feel free, baby.
I don't feel bad for paying $50 just to play the DLC. I don't think I could play The Last of Us again. I think that once through was enough for me.
Well, what would be the benefit even really?
Of playing it again?
Just to see how pretty it is?
Yeah, but that's why I wanted just to play the Left Behind DLC, because I figured I feel like that gave me all I needed to see from the game.
So, it's not like you have to replay it for trophies because those carry over.
Nope, they don't. It's an entirely
they don't?
Nope, it's an entirely new set.
Don't.
Oh, but is it the exact same
Yep.
trophies?
Mm-hmm.
That's stupid.
They did. Your face is stupid.
Didn't they add a new difficulty level?
Yes,
is it grounded, the new one?
Yes, okay. Because I was like, which difficulty should I play it at? And ultimately I settled on hard because I didn't want to do survival because I think I played it at medium last time. And then I was like, it went online. I was like, what's grounded? And it went online and they go, probably the most challenging thing you'll ever play in your entire life. I was like, nope, not starting with that.
If you change the difficulty settings in the game, they tell you what you lose.
Yeah.
If you go to grounded, you lose everything.
What do you mean?
Everything that pops up on the screen, your ability to, your Batman sense where you can listen to the surroundings, all of it gone.
Batman sense.
You get none of it.
And they said the AI on the enemies is ridiculous. They are relentless and they're all headshot experts. The name of the game is don't get seen and stay quiet and out of sight as much as possible.
The camera needs to be a really good camera for me to be okay with that. A really wide field of view.
Now, Dinner, do you have anything else you want to say about The Last of Us?
No, it's pretty.
I'm pretty sure you'll probably have more to say maybe as you play more of it.
Yeah.
Now I started because I didn't want to start Wolfenstein for whatever reason, maybe because I don't believe Chauncey, but other people have spoken.
I'm lying to you. It's I've tricked him into giving someone else his money.
We picked it up. We picked it up from Best Buy because it was on sale for $43.
That's worth it. Easily.
And Allie was like, "Well, have you heard anything good about it?" I said, "Well, Christian Spicer said it was good." And she's like, "Okay."
Fuck Chauncey.
Yep.
Whatever.
Pretty much. So I decided to play Infamous today. For the first time since it screwed me over back in May. And after playing Left Behind, the Last of Us DLC, I'm wondering if Second Son wasn't meant for the PS3.
No.
There are things that I saw in...
But how? No, it's not possible because you need to use the touchpad to open gates sometimes.
Only once.
Oh yeah, I'm
only
sure
once.
That's real difficult.
Only once. And the touchpad crap in Second Son is one of my knocks against the game. I hate that.
It's the dumbest thing. Quick, swipe up.
So there were certain graphical things that I noticed in the up-res version of Last of Us Remastered that are there in Second Son.
Such as
it's hard to explain what they are. There's it doesn't. First of all, it just really doesn't feel like anything else. But it doesn't. I'm trying to think of what it was. It was something with the shading or something like that. But I was just kind of
looks like they took a PlayStation 3 game and just made it pretty.
Yeah. Yes.
To go on a PlayStation 4. I totally get that.
I think that's what I think that's everything we've seen on the PS4 yet. I'm waiting for totally beautiful.
I'm not trying to knock on Second Son for the way that it looks or anything like that, but when I was playing it the first time through, I was like, yeah, this is a PS4 game. But now
that you've played
after seeing the remastered version of The Last of Us, I'm kind of like, I think this was meant for the PS3. Not only that, I think one of the little things that kind of gave it away for me, and this is really subtle, because I feel like, and this could just be my interpretation of the games, I feel like the Infamous games were always kind of supposed to be kind of set in the present day, if you will, or at least close to the current time. But if you look at the security camera and the cutscenes, and they have a date on there, and it's for a year earlier than that game released. It says February 2013, instead of February 2014 or May 2014.
Who the hell reads the goddamn dates on the cameras?
I noticed it. I just noticed it because I was actually paying attention to the cutscenes this time, and I wasn't specifically looking for it. I was
Again,
like, that's weird.
Paying attention to the cutscenes. I'm gonna start reading the text on the camera. I got bored with all the action happening in front of me.
That's what happens when you have an HD game, and all of a sudden all the text is clear.
Doesn't mean again. I don't like reading. I don't. You can't make me. I'm playing a video game for a reason. Subtitles off.
I would be curious to if that ever comes to light that Second Son was a PS3 game that was up-resed and ported.
Everything is going to be up-resed and ported. I mean, I played Destiny on PS3. I think that the number of polygons is the same. The only thing that you guys are getting that I'm not is screen resolution.
The number of polygons
and frame rate
very different.
I don't think so.
It's very different.
I think it looks better because of higher resolution textures, but I don't think it is. Because you'd have to model the characters twice.
Flipping, but it's an
or
engine,
at least tweak them.
It's an engine thing. You basically say this is the highest and this is the lowest, and the game will pump. The engine will, when it's like rendering stuff out, it will determine what character model to use. It's the same thing that happens when you have like draw distance. The models that are farther away have like fewer polygons and lower textures. And then as you get closer, everything kind of upreses and streams
fills in.
Yeah. It's basically that same thing, but they're doing it like across like in engine for the different games. And the only reason I say that, Joe, is because I was able to go from, I did try Destiny on the PS3 to play with you.
Yep.
So I was able to go from the PS4 version to the PS3 version and back to the PS4 version. There is a very big difference between the two.
Well, and to be fair, your idea of a very large difference and my interpretation of a very large difference is like not that. I didn't see it. The only time I noticed that it looked different was the title screen with the character standing there, that he was lower resolution.
That carried over the rest of the world, and it was like, not only that, it was displaying in 720p versus 1080p.
I have a feeling later on when you're facing some of the bigger mobs, it's gotta affect it. It has to.
Yeah.
When all of a sudden it changes from only 3 or 4 enemies running at you to like 20 of those stupid thralls running down at you.
No,
that's got to affect it.
The one thing I did like though is when I was going to play with Joe, I just signed into the game and my characters were there. It didn't ask me to like log in. I just logged in with my PlayStation account, obviously. Like I signed on to my PlayStation and started up the game, and there were my 2 characters. Excuse me, and I got to bring them back over with me to the PlayStation 4.
That's really nice, and I hope that they kind of continue that.
Wait, do you mean when you got on the PlayStation 3, your PlayStation 4 characters were still there?
Yeah. And then when I went,
really interesting.
And then all the loot and everything I got while I was playing with Joe was still there when I loaded back up my PS4 later that night. And it wasn't like, hold on, well, we fetch your stuff, and then you're sitting there for 15 minutes while it like loads it. No,
it's like as if your guy and stuff is loaded to a server that can be accessed from either system.
Yep.
That's incredibly interesting.
Which is what I hope happens with Grand Theft Auto, but it probably
won't. What they are doing with Grand Theft Auto.
In game, I want my story mode to come over.
No, that won't come over. Why? Your online persona is the only thing that's going to come over, because that's the only thing that Rockstar has control of.
Yeah.
Like your online persona.
When you save your single player game, that saves to your hard drive. When you save your multiplayer game, that saves to the server. That's why every once in a while, like if they're having a problem with their servers, it'll tell you that it cannot save.
Well, then they just need to patch it and let it download to the server, and then let me take it with me.
It really just depends on what kind of stuff happened on the back end, because I don't think the PS3 games and the PS4 games, I don't think use the same save file, like the same type of save file. But I could be wrong. I know there's like cross-buy. Is there, Danner, have you seen a cross-buy cross-save game from PS4 to anything else?
Oh, there he is.
He's like, I have to unmute my mic.
Are we talking like cross save like in game
Yeah, like you know how like certain
or
games on
just
like the Vita and the PS3 you can have a cross save. So like Sly Cooper, you could play it on the PS3 and then your save will show up on the Vita.
like well, there's a lot of I mean Vita PS3 games that have like I know Rainbow Moon has a cross save set up and there's a few other ones, but it's usually Vita to PS3. I haven't
Right.
seen. I think Doki Doki also has a cross-platform save for PS4, PS3, and Vita.
Okay. Like I said, it's not that it can't be done. I'm just wondering what needs to be done to do it.
Yeah.
So
I'm just gonna throw this out there. Sometimes you say the names of video games, and I'm pretty sure you're just making up words.
Doki Doki.
Doki Doki.
No, he's not
Doki
making it
Doki
up.
Universe.
He's not making that up.
You could be reading the back of a cereal box right now. I could not prove you wrong. Like, yeah.
All right. I've got one more story I want to talk about, and then we can wrap this up. Everyone good with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. EA has announced a service called EA Access.
I read about this.
It is $5 a month or $30 for the entire year. It is launching with 4 games. It's Peggle 2, Madden 25, FIFA 13, and something else. Basically, sports
One of these
titles.
games is not like the other.
Oh, Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4. Yeah, one of these games is not like the other. And then they're supposed to add more games to it over time. It gives you like a 10% off discount off of buying digital versions of their games. It will also give you access to their new games a week early, and those saves will carry over to the final game if you choose to buy it. Now, this is only on the Xbox One. PlayStation reportedly has passed on this service, saying that it's not enough of a value for the PlayStation.
It does not
gamer.
represent a good value to the PlayStation gamer.
Well, we can talk about that in a second. Thoughts on this, guys?
It seems stupid to me.
I mean,
it seems dumb to me too.
But okay, hang on. Now, my devil's advocate is here, especially with what Sony said. How is this different from PlayStation Plus?
It's not, but it's
Incredibly
quite
limited.
honest,
It's
unless you play
subscription on
sports
top of a
games, I
subscription
don't
you
think
already
there's much of a value to it.
But it's sports games it's not just going to be sports games though.
EA games. It's gonna be EA games.
I know,
Yes.
but it's a EA, so it's mostly going to be
But
sports
a lot of
you're
it
going to
is.
see. You could see Dragon Age. You could see Mass Effect. You could see Titanfall. You could see like anything that Mirror's Edge. You could see. It's an it's an EA service, so you can see a lot of stuff. I think the sports games are just the first thing because they're sports games.
I was gonna say I'm burnt out on Battlefield because nobody
Yeah.
ever wants to play it with me, and
I
I don't have
No
I
it.
don't
one
want to
ever
play
played
with.
it.
Whoa! I don't. Let me rephrase that. Nobody wants to play with me, and I don't want to play with Sean.
Well, I got rid of
So-
mine at the geek sale, so
Yeah, and I don't play sports games, so I mean, literally,
okay. So what I'm getting is this is not a service for you.
no.
This is not a service for. I think this is not going to be a service for a lot of people.
No,
Well, and look, the people that are in sports games, this might be an added value to them, but my
my
Okay,
first
I have a
thing-
question.
What's that?
So this is only going to be on Xbox One, right?
Yep.
If my Xbox Live subscription runs out, but I've already paid for the year for this EA. What is it? EA Access? They're
Yes.
calling it.
Yep.
Okay. Does that mean I'm not able to access it? It's going to be like Netflix, where you're going to have to.
No,
you have to have both
Netflix is not behind the paywall anymore. It hasn't been
anymore.
for
I'm
like
saying,
2
but like
months.
how it was on. I know, but like it was before. Do you know what I mean? Like, say you pay for the whole year for that, because I mean, $30 for a year is not that expensive. But say like something happens, your Xbox Live runs out. Does that then? But that could also stop you from being, because if they're digital download games only, and you got a thing on it, I'm wondering if they have some kind of code in there being like, if you don't no longer have access, do you no longer get rights to those games? Because they could do that if they wanted to.
Well, they could do anything they want if they wanted.
I know. No, but I'm saying with it being digital only. But another subscription on top of a subscription, I've had about enough of those.
Okay, what if this was like Ubisoft? It's not.
What do you mean?
What if it was? Like, what if it was Ubisoft and it was like you get access to all of our Assassin's Creed games, you get I don't know, the Crew, you get Division, you get, something else for free when they come out, but it's like, you sign up, it's $40 a year.
Well,
I'd rather own my games.
Like I feel like one of the things going against this is that it's EA.
Yeah.
If it was somebody else that like, and that sounds like it was like what Danner's thing was, like it's EA, like he's not interested in their offerings.
Yeah,
so I'm wondering
to me,
if it was...
it's not the company and it's not the variety of games. That's not what's caused me to stop.
The pipeline. Oh no!
I know.
No.
What?
There's a pipe. They're remaking
one of Mike's
pipeline.
favorite maps is being remade for the next DLC.
For what?
Advanced
for Call
Warfare
of Duty
and Advanced Warfare. Not buying it. Nope.
Where are you reading this?
It was on Yahoo News.
Oh,
of all places. That's where I get all my video game news from.
From Yahoo.
Yeah.
Yahoo.
I don't have my script for exiting the show.
It's okay. You never technically started the show because I think you got interrupted.
No, I started it.
No, you didn't because I asked if you were recording.
No, I
introduced myself.
Yeah.
Did I mention the fact that I got up at 4 a.m. this morning?
I introduced you and you went,
that's right.
It's okay, Art. It's okay.
So, I mean, I guess we'll see how it plays out. The other way to look at this, how do we feel about Sony standing up and making the decision for PlayStation owners and not letting us vote with our own money?
They see which way the wind is blowing better than we do. They must know something.
They're not saying you can't play those games. They're saying they do not want that service on their system.
Right.
That's totally up to them. So you can't get HBO Go on PlayStation.
I think you can.
Not on PlayStation 4, you cannot.
Not yet. I mean, you will be able to.
Not yet. Eventually.
That's not Sony not wanting it. That's Microsoft locking it up. But this is something different. This is, apparently they went to Sony first and Sony passed and then they went to Microsoft. So I think it's just kind of like they feel like they've got, obviously they see the value in PlayStation Plus. I totally see the value in PlayStation Plus.
I have, when the PS4 started coming out, all of my good games that were coming for PS3 kind of trickled out. I haven't downloaded anything in like 2 or 3 months.
You're not looking hard enough.
I look every Tuesday.
I feel like
look harder, bitch.
Dragon's Crown's going to be free soon, so
I don't know what Dragon's Crown is.
Oh, you're going to want to play it.
Okay.
Oh yes. I feel like if
monster closets.
If this had been a different like selection of games, I probably would be interested in like trying it out. But also if it was on the PlayStation, I'd probably be interested in trying it out. But I have no interest in something for my Xbox One that's not Titanfall. So, who's going to piss their pants? Why? What?
You gotta go potty.
Go potty.
I have to go poop. I have to go poop. Wrap it up. I need to go potty.
Oh, I was wondering because I for some reason I cannot read any messages.
All right, let's see if I can do this from memory.
I kept hearing the noise.
If Art's gonna go pee, I'm gonna go poop. I'm gonna share that with everybody.
Oh Jesus!
We're gonna mix our bodily fluids together.
And that's gonna be a challenge.
That is how
we create a good goulash, baby.
As always, you can comment on the episode post at geekcastradio.com if you want to leave us your questions, your comments, anything like that. You can also leave us a review on iTunes, please. We've kind of stalled out at 12. I'd like to know how we're doing. If you know someone that's listening on iTunes, have them leave us a review.
Be careful if we don't get another review soon. Mike might threaten to take us off the air again.
1 star if you have to, 5 stars if you can. You can also send us emails at feedback@geekcastradio.com. Just put off the cuff in the subject line. You can find myself, Michael Powers, on Twitter, Xbox Live, and the PlayStation Network at Booth Ninja 81. Danner, where can they find me on the Wii U?
They can find you at Booth Tendo.
I hate it so much. I hate it so much.
Danner?
Fucking Booth Tendo.
You can find me on Twitter at Art Danner, and you can find me on Xbox Live at well, that is a lie. You can't find me on Xbox Live. You can find me on
play
PlayStation.
Titanfall with them on Xbox Live.
You can play Titanfall with me on Xbox Live if I ever turn on the system.
Hey,
actually, you can't because the Xbox Live goes down every time I try to play.
This is truth.
Titanfall, which is a true statement. So yeah, you can find me on PlayStation Network at Shanzi Shut the Hell Up. That's my new tag.
Gamer tag. That's a great one.
Please change your game.
Find me at X51 the Machine Man on PlayStation Network.
X51 Shanzi Shut the Hell Up.
I don't think they give you enough characters.
Joe?
You can find me on Facebook because I'm a Luddite at Facebook/Geek Stuff Garage Sale. You can find me on the PlayStation Network at Viva Ildfire 405.
Shanzi?
I've been Shanzi. You can find me on Xbox Live at Weapon87. You can find me on PlayStation Network at whatever the fuck my tag is. I don't even remember.
Weapon Verver.
Weapon Fervor 01.
How do you spell that?
Fervor. The Q is silent, Joe.
Okay.
I'm on there occasionally. I want to play Towerfall Ascension, but I want to play against people that don't talk. So
well, the problem is does Towerfall Ascension have an online play? I thought it was only local.
I thought it was online.
I think it's only local because I went on once to try and play it. And
you have gone on lots of things once, and that's why Joe doesn't talk to you like that anymore.
Joe talks to me a lot.
No, he doesn't.
Joe talks to me more than you do.
No, well, that's because he knows you. I don't have to see your face, so I don't really care.
All right. We will fill your ear holes next week, listeners.
Also your monster closets.